back to Finding Wendy. Thanks for joining me again this week. This week I'm going to talk about your set point, and I'm also going to talk about my NSVs and about my general weight loss journey. So stay tuned. Let's start off with my weight loss. So this week's kind of been a struggle because as you all know, last week, or may not know, last week I was at 221 pounds, and this week I gained weight. And I'm trying for the hardest time trying to figure out why I gained weight. Because, as you can see from my macros, I'm pretty well trying to keep around the 1,000 calorie mark. I'm trying to eat under 100 grams of carbs and under between 60 to 80 grams of protein. So basically we come back to the age-old discussion about my honeymoon, my bariatric honeymoon. And another thing I was going to mention is that I've been to the gym about 4 times this week, and I worked really hard at the gym. And first of all, is this weight gain muscle weight gain? Because as we all know, muscle is heavier than fat. So is that the reason for my gain? Or is my body going into starvation mode again? Because I was watching the videos from Dr. Weiner once again, and I highly recommend him. He has some great advice. And one of the things that he talks about in his videos is basically he talks about, I made some notes here, and I'm just looking here on my computer. Let's see, just a sec here. I'm looking it up. Here I am, back again. So anyways, he talks about your metabolic thermostat. So your metabolic thermostat is basically the hormonal response to bariatric surgery and how long it will last. So I had my bariatric surgery now 1 year, 10 months ago. And I've basically plateaued since the summer. Since the summer, my weight has been up and down around the 220, 230 mark. I would say after my hip replacement surgery, my weight is sort of hanging around the 220 mark. And I'm working really, really hard to try to get it under the 220 and to, continue on to my goal of reaching Wonderland. I really, really want to reach Wonderland, but is it now attainable? Because of the effects of bariatric surgery, basically stop at one point, and it's called the honeymoon period. The honeymoon period is a certain amount of time after your surgery, and then it's done. So the age-old situation that happens with your body is that if you adjust your calories, then your body goes into starvation mode and your metabolism goes up. If you overfeed your body, your hunger goes down and your metabolism goes up. So the moment I start eating more calories, then my weight goes up. So it's a very special balance that you have to find between your working out and the type of foods that you eat. And he talks about that in his videos as well. That it's basically fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds that you need to eat. Well, I tried the nuts and seeds. It doesn't work for me because of my addictive nature is that I can't stop eating the nuts if I start eating the nuts. So I'm trying to replace the nuts with protein and trying to eat more vegetables and watch my fruit. But then again, it affects your carbs because there's a lot of carbs in fruit, like a banana has tons of carbs. So it's a very frustrating balance that you have to figure out, that your body needs certain foods and what is the reaction. Now, I'm 60 years old. If you're a 20-year-old and you're going to the gym every day, your metabolic rate is going to go way up, or your set point is going to go, lower, and your metabolic rate is going to go up. But being a 60-year-old woman, I can't really build muscle that much anymore. No matter how much I work out at the gym, and there are some examples of a woman I recently discovered on Instagram, And so Instagram, this woman I recently discovered, she's over 70 years old, and her name is Train with Joan. Train with Joan. Train with Joan. And she is a really great example of somebody that has turned her life around after 70 or after 60, as far as how much she's been working at the gym and how much muscle gain that she has gained by working out at the gym. She's basically become a bodybuilder in her 70s, which is an incredible story, but takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And how much time do we all have to do something like that? Like yesterday, I was at the gym for 2 hours at the gym. I did, and I'm pretty proud of it, because that's something I want to talk about as well, my NSVs, because it's finding your goals change as you go, as you're continuing on your bariatric journey. Because my original goal when I was 450 pounds, there's a picture, 450 pounds, was to be able to do certain things and get to a certain weight. I'd love to get to Wonderland for sure, but more importantly, the NSVs, the non-scale victories, I have to re-look at. So let's re-look at them together. Are concerned. There's so many things that I couldn't do at 450 pounds, and I'm just going to review them with you now. Okay? Let me take a sip of coffee. Here we go, my lovely sip of coffee. If I think back, and I was talking to a friend this morning about that, about looking back at 2 years ago, what my life was like. Because I'm focused so much on getting into Wonderland and thinking my life is going to change drastically between 220 pounds and 180 pounds. It's not going to change that much. It's true. But I still have to stay on track and not regain the weight I lost. That's the number one goal, right? And that's the number one goal everybody wants to do. Dr. Weiner talks about that in his videos, that like 90% of bariatric patients regain after their surgery. After the sleeve surgery, it's 2 to 3 years is when your regain starts to work, and 4 to 5 years when you have Roux-en-Y, when you have bypass. So, getting back to my thoughts of where I was 2 years ago and my NSVs, the things that I can do now that I couldn't do 2 years ago. So first of all, when it comes to taking care of your body, your own body hygiene, okay? This is going to get gross for just a second. Ah, gross. I was so big that I couldn't reach myself after I go to the bathroom, number one or number two. And that I basically had to use other apparatuses or go and take a shower and clean myself off after I went to the bathroom. That's how bad and that's how big I was. And it's very embarrassing. I had to keep myself clean all the time because all of these folds of skin and things like that, you sweat. You sweat a lot underneath these folds of skin. The other issue with personal hygiene is getting bladder infections all the time. I got bladder infections and yeast infections all the time because I couldn't keep the downstairs area clean. That's horrible. It's just horrible when I think about it. Now, there's no issue at all. It's just, you know, it's very liberating, for sure. For sure, it's very liberating. Another NSV is basically just walking. That's a huge NSV. When I weighed 450 pounds, I couldn't stand for more than 5 minutes without getting excruciating pain in my back. Now, yesterday, as I mentioned, I went to the gym. And I'm trying to build up my cardio portion of my gym exercise. The weight training is actually kind of easy. I'm actually quite strong. But the cardio part is hard. So I have now built up my walking to 20 minutes on the treadmill. There's no way I could have done that 2 years ago. I couldn't walk 1 minute on the treadmill without being out of breath, my back killing me. So 20 minutes on the treadmill, and this is of course post hip replacement surgery. 20 minutes on the treadmill, 30 minutes on a stationary bike, and I just incorporated elliptical because I wasn't sure whether or not the elliptical would hurt my hip. But I started at 1 minute, and I'm all the way up to 5 minutes on the elliptical. So that's a great improvement with my I went to the gym cardio 4 times this week, and each time I worked out between an hour and 2 hours. So yesterday I worked out for 2 hours. I did, close to an hour of cardio, or a little bit less, about 45 minutes of cardio, and then more than an hour of weight training, starting with the legs and then the upper body as well. And I ended my workouts with going on the hydro massage chair from Planet Fitness, which is heaven. But the point is that I luckily enjoy going to the gym. I really do, and I actually went to the gym a lot before I had my hip replacement surgery. But it is difficult, for sure, if you're somebody who hates going to the gym and you've had bariatric surgery, because now, 2 or 3 years out, and forever, anybody who's out there who has had surgery 2 or 3 years ago, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What sort of struggles are you having? Like, have you adapted your eating? Like, I don't eat any processed food at all anymore. The only thing, any kind of processed food that I had recently was that when I was in the hospital and I was so sick and tired of the hospital food, I used Uber Eats and I ordered a Harvey's hamburger, and that was back in September. At the end of September, I had my 3rd surgery, and I was in the hospital in October. You know the whole story. So I just was desperate to have some food that would fill me up because I was so hungry because the hospital food was just horrible. But processed foods really are a trigger for overeating. If I eat carbs and processed foods, I want to eat more. So it's a really interesting, delicate balance. Welcome back. By the way, I'm wearing lipstick today. Do you like it? I thought I'd just perk myself up a bit with some lipstick. And I have such dry lips, so I might as well use lipstick. So anyways, getting back to the medical side of bariatric surgery, how long does your hormonal response last after surgery? It's not how long does the bariatric surgery or last after your surgery. Let's put it this way. How long does your hormonal response last? So basically all sorts of things happen to your hormones after bariatric surgery, which unlike happens if you just do a regular diet. If you do a regular diet, there's no real giant hormone change. But the bariatric patient, you have your surgery, and my surgery, I weighed 375 pounds. You go to sleep at 375 pounds. Your brain goes to sleep at 375 pounds. But when you wake up, your brain thinks you weigh 200 pounds. So you're not hungry after surgery, and you're not hungry for a long time after bariatric surgery. And you are satisfied with a lot less food. You're more satisfied with healthier food choices. So your set point is your metabolic thermostat. So once you get to your lower set point, so in my case, I'll say my set point was 220 pounds because I think that's what it is. The way you will be successful is to continue lowering that set point. Now, I didn't have anything physical happening to me, like another surgery. Some people, indeed, who have had the sleeve surgery go on and have Roux-en-Y surgery. To indeed trick their brain to think they're not 220 pounds, but they're 150 pounds when they wake up. And so that whole hormonal response reoccurs again, and you can continue losing weight. So now I'm faced with my big plateau. The honeymoon period is over, and how do I continue losing weight? Or should I just continue thinking I'm at my goal now. Now my goal is, or my task is, to continue keeping this weight and not regaining. I was actually recently talking to two people about this very, very topic. Do you think that you have reached your end point? Have I reached the end of my journey with this bariatric surgery? And are you satisfied with it? So maybe it's a change of thinking. Again, the NSVs come into play. I'm happy with my life right now. I'm happy that I can do so many things, like walking, like washroom things, clothes. I love wearing clothes that I can just buy off the rack. There's just so many things. I'm so much happier. I do so many more things. I go out. I hang out with friends. I go to concerts. I'm not sitting at home on my couch, stuffing my face with carbs and watching TV. It's kind of a aha moment, an Oprah aha moment. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. You will love your new weight. You will love your new weight. You will love your new weight. You will love your new body. You will love your new body. You will love your new body. Yeah, do you love your new body? Do I love my new body? Yes and no. I love my new body with clothes on, but I don't love my body with clothes off. Okay? It's a droopy mess underneath these clothes. It's all skin. It's all skin. And, you know, I just recently read a book from a friend, Megan, who talks about things about what do you want your body to look like? So you have to really think realistically. I have abused my body for the last 50 years. I have been overweight since I was 8 years old. And that abuse is going to leave scars. And the scars are underneath my skin, are underneath my clothes right now. The scars is my stretched out skin. And those scars are permanent unless you have it removed, right? And then you get another scar. Like I have a new hip and I have this giant scar on my leg. And that's permanent. So, so being realistic when you take on any kind of weight loss journey, being it bariatric or just diet and exercise and a lot of cardio, that you realize that you'll never get the body you want to get or vision. I'll never have a flat ab. I'll never ever have small legs because my legs were huge. Like in this picture here, my legs were huge. They're a lot smaller now. And I just recently measured my thighs, basically. I think I've lost half of the size of my thighs, which makes it much easier for me to walk. When I walked, my legs were like this when I walked because the thighs were so big. And now my legs are more or less like this, which makes it much easier to walk. But underneath my pants, it's a droopy mess of skin. Like it looks like the skin is melting off my legs. And that will not change unless you have plastic surgery. And here in Canada, that plastic surgery is not covered by our health plan. The only plastic surgery is covered is the penicular surgery. So the stomach, the hanging stomach below your belly button is covered by our national health care system. But as you can well imagine, I am not running to a surgeon anytime soon after what I experienced with my hip having 3 surgeries in the span of 5 weeks with this infection and the results of what happens to you when you lose so much weight with surgery. Because I heard it's 1 in 1,000 people get infections after hip replacement surgery, but it's 1 in 10 people get infection if you've had weight loss surgery. So, yeah, not going to be running to the surgeon anytime soon. I just cover my body up with clothes for now, and luckily living in Canada in such a cold climate, 8 months a year, we have to wear a lot of clothes. We can't walk around in shorts very long. Like our summer's basically 6 weeks long, and that's it. Put back your clothes on, put back your layers on, start wearing a coat. And remember, I originally set up these videos for my own accountability and for my own therapy. And these videos are great therapy for myself, because even though I'm here all alone, I'm only here with my dog. So I'm kind of talking to myself, but I'm actually talking to you guys as well. The big message for today, to me, is to put that scale away for now, which a friend also just texted me and said, Wendy, put the goddamn scale away and start concentrating on staying on a healthy path, staying on eating healthy, not regaining, and not being so focused on the calories and the carbs. You know yourself. I know myself. I've been doing this now for 2 years. I know how many calories and carbs, or mostly calories, are in whatever. And my focus is not to regain. That's definitely my focus. But I would say the most important thing is to remain going to the gym, and that my goal has changed. My goal is now to be able to walk without a cane for an hour. That's my goal. That's my new goal. So it's no longer Wonderland. I hope I can be in Wonderland one day, but I don't think it's realistic. My goal is to be able to walk. That's my new goal. So, I think that's about it for today. I think I've talked enough, and there's a lot going through my head. The other thing I wanted to mention, and it's very exciting news, is that I'm writing a book, and I'm almost finished the book. I'm on my last chapter of the book, and I'm hoping to have the book published by March or April, and it's going to be published through Amazon. So I've signed up for self-publishing in Amazon, and I just figure for the people who have not found this channel, that reading a book will also help them as well, because I have gained so much knowledge. And that's the wonderful thing about this whole bariatric community, and I wanted to end on that note, is that with all the Facebook groups that are out there, with all of the professionals at Toronto Western Hospital that have helped me, my nutritionist, my psychologist, my psychiatrist, my surgeon, there's just so much information that I've learned, and also online with different articles from the American Scientific Magazine, and also Dr. Weiner and other people, and not Dr. Nuzardin, by the way. He's a quack, I think. But anyway, the real strong professionals who are have so much experience in their field that that I wanted to write this book and share my knowledge and what I've learned in these past 2 years about bariatric surgery and about my journey. And this last part of the journey, I think this bariatric honeymoon, that the honeymoon period that's over now, this part is the hardest part of the entire journey, for the realization of reaching your plateau, and then this is it. And now what? Now what do you do the rest of your life? Now do you regain all the weight you lost? Because Dr. Weiner talks about the average bariatric patient, or the average person, if you not even had bariatric surgery, gains 5 to 10 pounds over every year, and over several years you've gained 50 pounds. So or 100 pounds. And that basically happens to many women who in their 20s or in their 30s start having children, and they gain weight after they've had babies. So it's the 5 to 10 pound a year thing. Like, as long as you try and stick around the same amount of weight, and you've noticed that you're gaining, then you have to do something about your metabolic rate. So you have to change what you're eating, eat healthier foods, eat more fruits and vegetables, and cut out the processed foods altogether. I mean, every now and then you can treat yourself with having it, but if you have processed foods every single day, you will regain or you will gain weight. So anyways, my book will hopefully be ready soon, and then I will publish it on Amazon, and then I will share the link with everybody so they can all experience what I've experienced in the form of words and not have to relook at all my 50 videos. Yeah, so anyways, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed my video this week, and thanks again for coming. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye for now.